You heard it right here, right now from the beat.
The new ivory is mammoth.
What do you guys want to know? I've done way too much research on dinosaurs.
Almost a larger-than-life figure.
No reason at all to think it was made by aliens. Drop down and go swimming as fast as you can. I don't know. All these big giants give me a kiss and tell me they don't. The crowd, just the pop, the loudness, the excitement, the electricity. I don't know if I can take your little Canadian destroyer.
Future is scary, but it's also wonderful. Welcome to another episode of the Unscriptify podcast, to another extraordinary guest and another unfiltered story powered by Jägermeister. We are joined by the 29-year-old piece of gold, former NXT Cruiserweight champion, CZW Heavyweight champion, Impact X Division champion, Lio Rush. Here we come without scripts and without boundaries with the man of the hour. Lio, thank you for coming, and are you ready to go genuine, uncensored, and unscripted with us today?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I appreciate you guys having me on. This is gonna be good. I can feel it.
Anytime. So, Leo, you gained prominence for your time in WWE, but it was a long way until there, building your name in the Indies, spilling blood in CZW. And can you say that 5-year-old you boy is living his pro wrestling dream?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think I've lived this dream to the fullest. Never in my wildest dreams that I think that I'd be able to accomplish as much as I have in my career so far. So yeah, I think 5-year-old me would be pretty damn proud right now.
Yeah, but stepping into square circle, it's like entering a world of its own. So can you share maybe a moment that truly defined the essence of professional wrestling for you?
I think winning the WWE Cruiserweight title he really, made everything sink in. That this was real. This was a dream that I had since I was a little kid, and I went after it. I went after it full force, and I didn't stop until I reached that goal, and I was making it to WWE. And I'm super that I was able to not only make it to WWE, but win a major title in WWE too. So I'm super happy about that.
Yeah. Do you like your time in WWE? I think unfortunately we haven't seen you enough in the ring wrestling, but you obviously your role as a manager. I wish I could have seen you with some superstars wrestling then, but it was your managerial role. You said once in an interview, I remember that it helped perfect your promo skills that you thought you didn't have up until then. So my question would be, do you think that promo work and character work is in today's professional wrestling equally important as the in-ring work? Because I kind of have a feeling that maybe today in-ring work is a little bit more important in contrary to maybe 90s, maybe 80s and before that. What's your opinion on that?
I definitely think a lot of people are misled with that. I still think that character work is equally as important as in-ring work. You got to care about the person who's in the ring, and if you don't care about the person who's in the ring, then they're just, they're just anybody. They're just somebody doing whatever that the next person can do. There's tons of athletes in the world. Professional wrestlers aren't the only people that can flip. They're not the only people that can fall. So, you got to bring personality. You got to bring that character work into the ring as well as outside of the ring. And I think that's what makes a professional wrestler, in my opinion, because if you don't have that, then you're not a professional wrestler.
Yeah, I want to go back to that moment when you captured the Cruiserweight title in NXT. How did it felt at that exact moment when you heard the third count from the referee?
Repeat that question?
How did it felt at that exact moment when you heard the 3 count from the referee when you won your Cruiserweight championship in NXT?
It was surreal for sure. I definitely wondered in the moment, and maybe I shouldn't have wondered in the moment, but in my head, what comes next? Like, how am I going to carry myself as a champion? And who am I going to defend it against? what show am I going to defend it on? Things like that. So as soon as I won, as soon as I heard that 3 count, you know, so many things went on in my head, and I was excited for the future from there on.
Yeah, and among all the storylines, not just in NXT and WWE, but overall, which one is maybe your favorite? You would look forward going back, maybe doing it once again, and whom did you enjoy to work with the most?
My favorite storyline for sure was me and Angel Garza. I think it had some in-depth
Awesome
character.
matches.
Yeah, I highly enjoyed it. A lot of in-depth character work, a lot of you know, promos, good storyline. You know, everything was there. The matches, like you said, it was a fun time. Me and Angel Garza definitely tore it up.
Yeah, you hit him with what I think is a picture perfect springboard stunner, but from the bottom rope in one match.
Yeah.
It was actually picture perfect, like
Yes.
as good as you can pull it off.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I remember thinking in my head, like, man, I hope I can pull this off. And when I did, landed flush, I was like, man, this is going to be one that's going to be in the highlight books for years to come. So glad that you know you guys are still talking about it.
But I mean, when you're in the ring, and especially when you have a style as yours is, with a lot of acrobatics and high flying stuff, do you think that maybe it's I don't know how to say, but when you have a technical wrestler, say like Bryan Danielson, do you think that maybe because of quote unquote slower style, maybe of wrestling, it's kind of easier to call spots? Is it heavy on you to call spots in the middle of the ring, maybe because of that style?
No, because I know my style. You know, I know my style. So it's not hard for me. It's not complicated for me. This is something that I've perfected over you know the last 10 years. So anything that I do in the ring, I'm highlighting. You know, I'm highlighting me. I'm making sure that I'm the one that needs to remember what's going on, because you know it's me doing the offense. It's me running around. It's me dipping and dodging. So it's not hard for me at all.
Yeah, I want to ask you as well, because Luca mentioned the springboard standard, the call up. I like it more than the final out as your signature move. But which move are you maybe happy that you don't need to sell anymore? Because the lumberjack from Cedric Alexander, I loved how you took it. And but did you like to take moves as maybe that one?
I hated every time when Finn Balor would stump me off of that top rope. Not like that at all. So I'm pretty glad that I don't have a grown man flying from 12 feet in the air landing on my chest anymore.
Yeah, I mean, when we had Tyler Breeze on, we discussed similar thing, and I explained my undying hatred for Canadian Destroyer as one of the absolutely, in my opinion, dumbest moves. Kudos to everyone that can pull it off, but just as a viewer, I think it's dumb. Did you ever Canadian Destroyer? Did you ever take it? I don't remember watching it.
Oh, many times, many titimes.
And what do you think of it? I think it's the most disgusting thing on earth.
Oh yeah, it's disgusting for sure.
Canadian Destroyer is becoming a leitmotif of this podcast slowly.
I hate it. I just hate it. I don't get it. Just as a pro wrestling fan, I don't get it.
Tell me this: you went full circle, like because you worked in Indies, went to NXT, WWE, AEW, Impact, Indies again, and you had your moments in each one of them. But what is different? Because to me, my perception, at least as the fan, the atmosphere in WWE is so much different than other indies. But on the other hand, a lot of wrestlers are proud of wrestling in high school halls and similar stuff.
You know, it's all different. There's different landscapes, and those landscapes come with different wrestlers and different mindsets. So they're all different than one another. You'd think that there wouldn't be many differences, but I definitely feel like that there are. You know, you got you got TNA, you got AEW, you got WWE, Ring of Honor. They all have such a specific focus on their style of wrestling. You know, you hear a lot about how WWE are just like the sports entertainers, and then the AEW professional wrestlers, and then you got the X division, which is special in TNA. So and then you got Ring of Honor, who people fight with honor, and
Yeah.
and the different sets of match rules and stuff like that. So it all varies based on promotion. I think it's pretty cool. So it keeps wrestling interesting. You know, you don't want to watch one thing and then turn the channel and then you're watching the exact same thing. So I'm glad that there are alternatives for sure.
Yeah, I mean that is now that you mentioned a lot of those different companies, I'm thinking like how much there is pro wrestling content, and I already WWE is releasing so much content that I have trouble collecting and watching all. But then you have, and it's awesome stuff. I mean, I think past 2-3 years of professional wrestling outside of COVID have been phenomenal in as far as the content goes. But it's like there is so much of it, you can't grab it almost.
Yeah, no, for sure. There's definitely a lot of wrestling content. Maybe too much, but there's a lot for sure.
Yeah. What about your run in AEW? Because your run in AEW was short, to be honest. And to me, who didn't follow AEW so closely at the time, it was as well confusing. And in my opinion, there's a lot of shenanigans in Tony's backyard. But what happened there? Why did you leave so early? And you were retiring, then you came back, and everything was a fuzz.
Yeah, it was. That's exactly what it was, a fuzz. I think it was just a lot going on, a lot of miscommunication, a lot of injury, a lot of just a lot. I think the timing was wrong. I think tensions were high, tensions were rising. You know, it's a new company, and a lot of things were getting figured out. So I think ultimately it just came down to just bad timing and miscommunication and things like that. And it happens. Things happen. Things don't always work out as planned. And my run was short, but I'm glad that I had the run that I did because people still talk about it, which means that it's impactful. So I'm super happy with what I was able to accomplish while I was there.
Yeah, and that was especially in AEW. I think this year they had a lot of problems with backstage and all that. But time that you were in, I think this far in their existence was amazing. 2021 and 2022, it was really good stuff from them.
Yeah, definitely good.
Yeah, and Vince is one of the bigger than life personas. Just being in his presence is often described as the unique experience. And you described your relation with Vince McMahon, saying he was my best friend when I was on Raw. What and why? How much of it is it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was just this part. It was, that was his baby. That was his project. Me and Bobby, that was his creation. So it was cool to be able to work with Vince week after week and getting that one-on-one time with him. He enjoyed it. He loved what we were doing. So I don't know if he felt like we were best friends, but I felt like we were.
Is there maybe advice or maybe critic from Vince that influenced your in-ring work the most since then?
Advice from Vince that helped my in-ring work? I don't think so. I mean,
or on-screen work.
Vince didn't put me in the ring, so he didn't put me.
Yeah, true.
So I think my in-ring work has always been, true to me and something that I hold, dear, and that's something that I'm proud of. I think a lot. Of course, I've had like trainers and coaches and mentors along the way, but for the most part, I think my style, created by me, mastered by me, I think throughout the years I stuck to that, and why it's being talked about and why it influences wrestlers, current wrestlers today. So yeah, but I don't think Vince had an influence on my in-ring work.
Yeah. But what about your on-screen persona?
I definitely think on-screen persona. You know, when you have somebody like Vince that's right in front of you week after week, and you know Vince's history with being on screen and his persona and how he likes to you know, turn up the dial, you can't help but to want to do the same. And you know, you want to make him proud. You want to show him that you are that larger than life character that he wants on screen. So I definitely think there was some influence and some motivation there when it came to the man of the hour persona. Yeah.
I mean, among that WWE locker room, which I mean, a lot of those guys, you know, have been there for years. I mean, you worked with Bobby, who has amazing story, I think, from military to professional wrestling, MMA, professional wrestling again. Did anyone in that, at least on the Raw roster, where you were, anyone felt like a leader of that locker room, so to speak?
I don't know. I mean, I think you know, there were a lot of people in that locker room that were leaders, or at least tried to be. And I was you know, I was a part of the roster when Roman Reigns you know, came out with his diagnosis, and you know, it felt like the locker room was lacking of a leader, and I think a lot of people were trying to step in that role or fill that position when he was gone. So yeah, there were a bunch of people in the locker room who were leaders, and who tried to guide the locker room and talent backstage. So yeah, there were a lot of leaders.
Yeah, I have to ask you this to not forget. I mean, we mentioned in-ring work, and obviously your finisher, Frog Splash, is one of my favorite high-flying moves. Where do you rank your amongst the best in history? Because I think, yeah, I have to tell you, you're not better than Rob Van Dam, but where would you put yourself? I think RVD is the best. And
I don't know. That's what you'd say. That's what you'd say. I think I can compete with the RVD Frog Splash. I mean, RVD influenced me. You know, I always used to see RVD hit that Frog Splash and bounce off of it and sell his stomach, you know, letting people know that it hurt him just as much as it hurt his opponents. And I always took inspiration from RVD. RVD is the man. Yeah, but I might have his number with that one. I think we gotta put some videos side by side. If anybody is watching this video right now, please put a RVD Frog Splash and a Lio Rush Frog Splash together, and let's see who gets the height. Let's see who bounces off the mat a little higher. But we'll see. RVD's the man though. Shout out to RVD.
Yeah, shout outs. Really.
You just made some extra work for me in post editing, but okay. Yeah. So you mentioned moment like Roman Reigns and his when he thought his leukemia is back and stuff like that. And wrestling community is the passionate one. And what's maybe one encounter or interaction with a fan that left a lasting impact on you? Have it maybe happened?
With a fan?
Yeah.
I'd have fans that would come up to me and express how I have literally saved their lives, because of how open I am with my mental health, and how I deal with it, and how I you know, approach, you know, certain situations to get through, you know, depression and things of that nature, and with my music. So those interactions are always so mind-blowing to me. You know, yes, I do what I do and say what I say to to inspire other people. But I think mainly it's to help me. It's to help me cope with things and stuff like that. And if I can, inspire other people and motivate other people and help other people through my experiences, that's amazing. It's nothing like hearing, hey, Lio, you saved my life. You helped me through the most darkest times of my life, and things like that are very rewarding to hear.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, also I think now that you mentioned you're speaking out to help yourself, kind of also to cope with that. I think also there's a part of seeing a character in professional wrestling, especially on TV, because on TV everybody looks sort of, our professional wrestlers are heroes in some sense, but now that we have social media and all that, we can see them more as real people, as we are talking to you right now, which, as a kid, you don't think of it that way. John Cena is unbeatable, unrest Superman for all times. And it's kind of a good thing about social media for professional wrestling fans to interact with wrestlers on that level, because before you didn't know that the Undertaker is an actual real person. And he started doing interviews, and you understand that Mark Calloway is, a great guy besides being a awesome professional wrestler.
Yeah, it's cool to be able to see professional wrestlers being quote unquote real people. When I was a kid, I definitely thought that, pro wrestlers were just pro wrestlers. I remember watching, I think it was SmackDown, and I remember the episode where I think it was Eddie Guerrero that fed Big Show burritos or Mexican food.
Yeah.
And getting in the bathroom before his match and stuff like that. And I definitely thought, hey, this is where wrestlers eat. They eat at catering. They eat at shows. So I don't know if they go back home and, put food on the stove or or anything like that. So just being able to, I can only imagine being a wrestling fan, listening to an interview like this, watching an interview like this, and seeing that your favorite wrestler is, just like you. They go through the same things that you go through. They struggle. They bleed. They get happy. They get sad. All things that are just very normal things. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I have to ask you this, and I asked this every pro wrestler that was here so far. Every wrestler has a crazy story from the road or from locker room. On top of your head, what's your craziest or funniest story in your career?
Man, I don't really. It's all a blur, man. It's all. Be completely honest with you, I wish I had more funny stories. I always get so jealous when I hear wrestlers tell good locker room stories and stuff like that. I'm like, man, you remember? I remember holding my head after the match, from falling and stuff like that. So I tend to not really remember too many like locker room things, more so just in-ring things, probably from the trauma of getting hurt so many times. But yeah, unfortunately I don't have some good locker room stories for you. Some people might have some good locker room stories of me, but yeah.
Yeah.
You have to collect those.
Write it down.
Yes, I gotta write it down.
Yeah. I have a final question before we wrap up, and it's the toughest one, perhaps. Can you name your Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling?
I gotta put Eddie in there.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta put Shawn Michaels. I gotta put Rey Mysterio.
Now the toughest part, the fourth one.
Man, that's really hard. But I will say Jeff Hardy.
Nice one. Nice
one.
one.
They fit your style. Also,
yeah,
I see why they're on your Mount Rushmore. But Eddie's frog splash is not better than RVD's still.
I thought he would say it isn't better than yours, but
That iconic one where he went off to the side and hit Brock to win the undisputed title. That one took the cake for me. So I don't know. Eddie is definitely up there. Eddie's the GOAT. So, you know, yeah. Eddie, RVD, anybody's got a good frog splash. D'Lo Brown.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, his frog splash is pretty good. But yeah, shout out to those guys.
Especially because he was also a big man, you know, like and Kevin Owens also can hit a good one.
Yep.
And I have one more question. Sorry. What do you enjoy currently the most about pro wrestling? Not just about you wrestling, but seeing on screen in WWE, AEW, or in Indies?
My favorite thing that I enjoy about wrestling right now, I think that people are trying to be megastars. I think I like seeing that people are genuinely trying to reach a point of superstardom when it comes to the individual wrestler. I'm seeing a hunger on all of the shows that I feel like was lacking. And I don't know if it was a holding on to a generation. I don't know if it was, I don't really know what it was, but I think people are realizing and seeing that we are moving into a different time period of wrestling, and that we need new stars and we need new future legends. And I think people are portraying themselves as future legends, and that's always exciting to see. Because that type of energy bleeds through the TV screen. If somebody is out there trying to be a star, then I think the fans kind of gravitate towards that energy, and they invest that same energy into that wrestler. So I think on all rosters right now, people are genuinely trying to be larger than life, and that's what I enjoy seeing right now.
Yeah. And what can we see from you in the near future, or maybe the distant one?
You can expect Lio Rush to tear it up like he always does. I'm 2024. I'm looking to step back out there and just put a little reminder out there that I am, one of the best wrestlers in the world, if not the best wrestler in the world. Out of sight is out of mind. So I know that there's a lot of people out there that think that they are the person. But you don't realize if you're the person until you step in the ring with the person. So we'll see in 2024.
Competition makes us great.
Yes.
Yeah. But before we wrap up, we have a little tradition where Luca will say a quote on our Montenegrin language and translate it to English. So he prepared a quote for this episode.
I prepared a quote from our director, Dusan Makavejev. And on our language he said, nezadovoljstvo svijetom I nezadovoljstvo sobom su pokretači kreativnosti. And on English it would translate, dissatisfaction with the world and yourself in it are initiators of creativity.
That's it. Thank you for the opportunity to be our guest today.
Thank you, guys.
I hope to see him. Sorry, go on.
No, this was amazing. I appreciate you guys having me on. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you as well. So we stay genuine, uncensored, and unscripted, and we always will, as we have to order our usual. Share us and subscribe us, and stay tuned until the next Wednesday. IKUZO!